So obviously some developments this offseason for you. Just what was the process like going through all of that, and maybe explain sort of what it was like for you going through all that this offseason?
Yeah, I was in an opportunity to try to just capture some more value with the year that I came off of and kind of the reputation I've been growing for myself, and wanted to try to exploit those, try to find those, and was poking around trying to find that. Obviously, with the Chargers, the negotiation stopped, and so we tried to go find it somewhere else. And I think just what's been happening with the atmosphere around the running back market, it's been pretty tough, and ended up coming back here. And I am thankful for the way it played out, because the Chargers did, give me something in the middle, some type of incentive. And so I'm very appreciative of that, because I did not have to do that. And I understand that. I understand that there's a business side to all of this, but I would do myself a I wouldn't be doing myself a service if I wasn't going and try to find more value while I can, because all of us have a shelf life. You don't know what it's going to be, so you want to try to maximize it while you're still playing.
Can you share what the incentives are, or if they're attainable, likely to be attained?
Yeah, they're all obtainable. It's basically just having the same years that I've been having these past couple years. And so it's benchmarks, right? You continue to play better, you continue to hit new benchmarks. And so it's, like I said, basically having the same year that I had last year would get me all of those incentives.
And that's like yardage, touchdowns.
Touchdowns. Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty vulnerable position to put yourself out there like that and say who's coming. But is there kind of I'm trying to put this is it lessen the blow a little bit that when you look around the running back market that this just isn't coming to fruition for really anybody?
For my situation, and putting myself kind of in the spotlight, it's kind of how I've gotten here. Being back to number 3 out there running around, betting on myself, have everything to prove. I've proved some from there, but you got to prove it and continue to prove it. Obviously, in this league, depending on where you are in the situation in your contract, I still have a year left, and so it makes sense. Hey, I still have an obligation with the Chargers here. That's what I signed up for. I understand that. What really is going on that I was really frustrated about was our top 3 guys getting franchise tagged and really capping the market. With Saquon, Josh, and Tony, and so that's really what's really frustrated me about what's going on in our current situation. Mine, I get it. I get mine a little bit more than I get theirs. I understand the league has that tool on their side to utilize that in the way when they want to, but it's just really hurt our market just because us as running backs. Sure, you say we have a shorter life. People say we get hurt. Yeah, sure, you can look at the number. Everyone gets hurt in the NFL. But just as far as players in general, we only have a certain amount of time to play this game, and to say, nope, you're going to have to risk it all again on a 1-year guaranteed contract and tell someone that and put them in that situation, not give them a choice, is just tough for me to accept, even though it is the way it is. And so that's where I'll digress on that. But as far as my situation, I'll bet on myself any day of the week. That's what I've been doing all my life.
Is there anything collectively you guys can do to try to improve the market?
I don't want to speak on that now. It's just this is above me speaking right now. I don't want to speak out of turn for us as a collective. So there's definitely things that we could do, but like I said, we haven't gone down that far yet.
For you individually, when you guys did test the market to see if there was anything out there, you and your agent, obviously, were you surprised at nothing really materializing there, or in the back of your head going into it, did you kind of know that?
No, I had an open mind. I had an open mind going into it. I thought it would be amazing if we could get someone who was wanting to, lock us down for some more value. I understood the situation it would put someone in, though. Giving up draft picks and having to renegotiate a contract is a pretty big ask. And so, like I said, I had an open mind. So when it came back, I was absolutely optimistic. Like, okay, let's find something. Let's get a deal done. Didn't end up happening. No hard feelings, right? Just come back, still have an opportunity here to go out there and show what I can do.
Austin, did things shut down basically over an extension, or were incentives always there for one more year? Or
so really, we were talking just extension. That was really all that was left. I had some incentives in this contract before these years. I didn't have any incentives this year, though, and so I had hit pretty much all of my incentives the last 2 years. Well, I did hit all my incentives the last 2 years, and then coming into this year there was none. So it was almost like a re-up of doing those.
Obviously, we all know what's happened with the running backs, but How would you describe the experience for you? I mean, was it humbling, frustrating? Like, how did you kind of come out of it?
Man, as I've gotten older and been playing more in this league, I start to realize there's a lot more currencies than just money, right? There's just your social presence, what you're able to do, who you're able to meet, and the things outside of football that really can, build the foundation of your life just in general. And over my years of playing, I've been building up all those other currencies. And so regardless of what happens here, whether I think it's fair or not, look, I'm going to try to put myself in the best position here while I can, but I'm also doing that off the field as well. And so I've kept a pretty open mind and pretty forward-looking outlook about it. And so I'm not mad. I'm not mad about the situation or anything like that. Things can be changed probably. And it takes time to figure that out and what's best for both sides, because there are two sides here. But for me individually, it's another opportunity to come out here, play football, and continue to build all my other currencies as well.
You've seen both sides. Just, I guess, how reassuring is it that this is settled now and you're answering questions about it in June, whereas 4 years ago there was a running back situation here and it didn't get settled until 4 weeks into the regular season?
Yeah, every situation's different, just depending on who you're dealing with, depending on what you're hearing in your corner, what you think you can get, right? What are your motives, things like that. For me, I understand I have one more obligation here, one more year that I'm obligated to be here. Wanted to go poke around and see if there was any other value. If not, right, come back and have my last year and like I said before, do what I can do here. But, every situation is different. So, with Melvin and his situation, right, they handled it in the way they wanted to handle it. We've handled this in the way we've wanted to handle it. There's been other people that have held out, other people that have done X, Y, Z, and that's up to them as far as how they want to handle their business. But as a collective, right, you can't really group us all together, right? It's just individual.
What have your first impressions been of Kellen Moore's offense?
Yeah, as far as me being here, I've been here a couple days now, but now being around all of this and just going into year 7, you start to, I have 4 different names for every route that we run because of just over the years, different offenses. We're all running the same plays, just call it different things. But when it comes to offensive coordinators, it's deeper than just, right, the actual, right, playbook, right? Yeah, you need to have playbooks to get players in the right spot, but it's okay, how do you use that during the game, right? How do you manage the game? Situational awareness, right? Making sure that we're putting ourselves in the best spot. So I think, Kellen's real test absolutely is getting us ready to play, but then when we get on the field is really when you're going to be able to see, how we're meshing with Kellen and how we all are meshing with Kellen.
So the first time you saw the playbook was when you got here, or did you get stuff before you
Yeah, so the first time I was introduced to the playbook, because I never came back and that was on me. I could have came back and got my iPad. I was just not here.
Yeah, I didn't know if they sent it to you, but so
No.
it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So specifically with the run game, maybe what's jumped out to you about that? We've talked to Rashawn and Kellen himself. They've talked about maybe simplifying things a little bit, finding runs that you guys can really major in, and then sort of adding the bells and whistles after that.
Yeah, I think just as far as coordinators going from, or even head coaches and coordinators, from just how many I've had, 4 or 5 over the years. It just really depends on how they're trying to marry up, I think, the pass and the run game. What are you trying to do in play action is going to show what you're trying to do, right, in your runs. And so you'll see different things. We all have the same different types of actions. It depends on your coordinator and what's the game plan, who you're playing, right? Because we all, like I said, we're all running the same plays. Just what works best against this defense that we're going against? What are the tendencies that we think we could do? So even the stuff we ran last year, you're going to see it again, but maybe it's a different combination at different times. Maybe we're having emphasis on, right, going more gap scheme this week. Maybe it's more zone scheme. It's so situational that I can't really answer what is his tendency. We'll see when it comes to game day.
Obviously for you, but I mean, is there any reason to think your role would be any different, or do you anticipate pretty much being used?
My role is the same every year, for me, in my perspective, because I still have my same mindset as I did when I was younger. It's I have everything to come out here and prove. I tell these guys, I told them when I got in here first day, I was it's your guys' job to come and take my job. And it's my job to show why you shouldn't be able to take my job and why I should still be number one. And I want you to push me like that. Like I want to feel the presence of you. I want us to come out here and compete. And when we do that, especially in our running back room, right, it continues to push and heighten ourselves. Because I'm demanding the best out of them, and I'm putting them in situations where, like, okay, like I want to see something. And if you don't, I'm gonna let you know. Because I've been building myself for so long. I feel like I have a really good understanding of the game. Now I'm trying to help these young guys have the same thing and be able to compete and go out there and play at a high level, because it takes all of us, And my tendencies. I think the most carries I've ever had is like 206, right? Like I'm not getting 300, 400 carries this season. That's not how it works. That's just not my type of style. It's not my type of body. I'm gonna catch 60, 70 ball, 100 balls, and try to run it 200 times. And so for me, it's continue to build into that role, continue to be a leader, because at this point, okay, how do you want to plug me in? I can be all over the field, but now can I pull more out of this team to bring us together, right? To be a leader, to actually make us more consistent when it matters down in the end of the season. That's the new role that I see myself playing more into as far as growing off of last year to this year.